4 minutes after 9 o'clock, it's time for Winging It. This is the show brought to you by Brad Boersma and Josh Verdunk. They're here from Ocala Aviation Flight School to answer your questions about flying, about airplanes, about engine fuel, about propellers, about wings, about area stuff, ailerons.
Oh, very good.
All that stuff, very good. The number to call if you have a question is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-9622. Good morning, Josh. Good morning, Brad.
Morning. Good morning.
How you guys doing?
Sí, bueno.
Oh, you're learning Spanish?
I'm trying.
Oh, really?
I've got a student who's from Colombia, and he's trying to teach me.
Oh, really? Well, that's good.
I haven't learned much. Sí, bueno.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
Yep.
It's an important thing to be able to say yes, good. You know, they say if you're going to another country, you should always learn how to say thank you.
That and I'm not hungry.
I'm not hungry?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, I'm not hungry.
How about baño? What's that? Bathroom.
Yeah, you need to know that too. Bathroom, I'm not hungry.
The thing is, if you learn how to ask...
Because they offer you, food that you can...
I'm
not hungry.
No, by the way, where's the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
If you learn how to ask where the bathroom is, you have to learn how to understand the answer. That's the whole problem there. It's easy to learn...
Just point.
Just show me, yeah. Point to the bathroom. That should be a better phrase to learn, right?
Yes.
Gosh, what, do you both have soup today?
No, y'all had run out of cups.
We did?
Yes. When we got here, we needed coffee, and there was no cups, so we had to use the giant soup bowls for our coffee.
Well, it looks like you're having soup.
Yeah. It's kind of like soup.
Yeah.
So, back to the regular.
I don't think you weren't here yet last week, were you, Josh?
Nope.
No.
What were you doing, Josh?
Making you money.
What were you doing, Josh?
I don't remember.
You were flying.
Well, yeah, I'm making you money.
Yeah. He was flying.
I
was flying.
Teaching somebody?
Yeah. I don't remember who. Who was I teaching?
You were teaching Sebastian.
Oh, yeah. I was teaching my Colombian student.
Oh, okay.
You've been gone for a few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Yes.
Happy New Year. We didn't see you last week.
Yes?
Yeah, Happy New Year, Larry.
We've got some good announcements, though. We had 2 students get their instrument ratings this week. I think that was Monday. We had Matt Erishman. He got his instrument, and next he's going for his commercial. And then we had Chris Olson. He also got his instrument and is also moving on with his commercials. So good job at both of them. They both actually started it about 2 weeks ago, I think. But the weather was bad, so they could only do the ground portion of their check ride. So they went ahead and did the flight portion on Monday, and they both passed. So that's a good accomplishment for the both of them. And just so in case anybody doesn't understand, the check ride is when they go through all their training. During the training, they have to, they get the training, take a written test, and they also have to take a check ride. Kind of like when you go to the DMV for your driver's license. And they have to do a ground portion where they sit down, they actually talk to an FAA examiner and answer questions and make sure that they understand what they're doing and that sort of thing. And then they will get up in the air, and the FAA examiner will be testing them on maneuvers and their skills and everything. So it's a little bit, it's for some people it can be stressful, some people it's very easy. It just kind of depends on the person. We have some students that once you just ask them their name, they can't tell you anymore when they're in a test, and so it's
so nervous, right?
Yeah. Well, some people do very, very well on the ground portion, and then get very, very nervous about the flight portion. And some people do the opposite. They get very, very nervous on the ground portion, and then fly great in the the practical part.
So that would be like I don't know if it's fair to say they would be a natural. It sounds like that's somebody who can fly. Is more afraid of the ground than the air. Has probably got a natural ability to fly. Does that make sense?
I don't think it's that as much as test anxiety.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes, if they do hard in the ground portion, they're like, okay, well, the flying should be easy. Or another people that do easy, and they're like, okay, well, the other part must be hard, and so they start stressing about that. And so it's just, we've got people that just stress about the flying, but they're really good pilots. So
yeah. Well, this is kind of a hard question to answer, I guess, because it's probably different for everybody. But when you're driving a car for the first time, it's almost like it's very methodical. Like you got to do this and that, and then after a while, you become one with the car, and it's kind of you're not even thinking about it anymore. I mean, and in the beginning of car driving, you don't even want to put the radio on. You don't want anything to take your mind off of it, right?
Yeah. Well, you get lazy. It's not that you.
That's
the problem. Is actually in aviation is too many pilots do get lazy. They get, I know the plane, I'm good. The worst, excuse me, the worst time when they get lazy is on their pre-flight. When you're flying, it's pretty much the same. You got to do the same stuff.
Right.
But to answer your question, yes, it does become more second nature.
Yes.
The more you fly, but you want to be careful that you don't become complacent in that to where you're not thinking as I don't know, preemptive as you usually would.
Yeah, when you're not as nervous, you don't check as many things.
By the way, Josh, I have a story to tell you.
Oh, boy.
It was in the news this morning. It was out of Australia.
About the snake in the wing?
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah, I heard about it.
And I saw the video, too.
Oh, did you?
Oh, did you? I didn't see the video.
Now, did the snake fall off of the wing? For those who didn't hear it, there was a 10...
No, he did not fall off the wing.
A 10-foot python, and it was on a Qantas flight to Papua New Guinea.
Yes, it was. Yep.
So it stayed on the wing the whole time?
It stayed on the wing. Well, what it was is it wasn't on the wing. It was like where the flaps go up and down, and it kind of managed to wedge its way in there. So at one point, I mean, even like 5 feet of it was flapping in the wind, but it had it was inside.
There's videos of this?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got to look them up. Wow.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy.
I'm surprised they continued with the flight. I think they would just turn around, and not only because of, you know, the safety of the aircraft, but also that species of, I don't know if that snake is indigenous to Papua New Guinea. I mean, I assume it is, so there's no issue bringing it over, but...
Right.
Well, I think that, I mean, they said the captain and they both went back and looked, and they didn't see it as it being an issue. Where it was, and they actually assumed it was going to fall off eventually, so I think they didn't think about turning around because they said, you know, with it, I can't remember what they said, you know, how fast or how much wind it had.
They flying over water at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it wouldn't land on somebody's house.
No.
But I think they said it was like 14 degrees up there also, so they were like, it's not going to survive, and it did. I mean, it was still alive when they landed. It was moving around. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why they didn't think about turning around. They figured it's not going to last.
Bet you the ground crews loved that.
Oh, they had a video of that, and the guys are all standing out, and one guy just starts backing up. Like, he was not getting, and not like turn around and walk away, like he would not take his eyes off the snake when he was backing up. So.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of funny.
Looks like you have a phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Josh and Brad.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
See, I live here in Silver Springs, and about direct north from me, about maybe 5 miles, 6 or whatever, John Travolta has a place up there on that airstrip, and he's got bigger type airplanes. I think one of them is a 727. When he decides to hop in that plane and take a ride or go someplace, does he just get in that plane and take off, or does he have to notify our tower to let to clear the way and to let other people that are in smaller planes that he's taking off, or what's the procedure on that?
No, I mean, he doesn't. Jumbo Air is not in our airspace, so you know he's going to get on the radio and communicate to anybody that's in the and that's what you do at any non-towered airport is you communicate that you're taking off, and what your intentions are, but he doesn't have to contact anybody officially or anything.
It's not in our airspace, but yet it's so close, though, really, isn't it?
It's really not. It's a good 5 to 8 miles outside of the airspace, so probably a good 10-15 miles from the airport itself.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really affect us at all.
Yeah, everybody knows about that airfield, right? I mean, it's not a secret or nothing.
No, it's not a secret.
Yeah, and let's see if you had if you had an emergency, can you use that airfield to land?
Well, technically, if you have an emergency, you can really land almost anywhere. At any airport, I mean, and so the emergency, because if you have a chance to land at an airport, they can't say, well, it's a private airport. They'd rather you land on an airport than on somebody's street. Yeah. So you could in an emergency.
Yeah. Now, like, is that airport? Does that have to be? Is that required to be lit up at night?
Nope.
It's not required. No, I don't even know if they have lights or not.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they do or not.
I don't know. I don't fly into there, so I'm not sure if it has lights or not.
Yeah. Now, like when he's flying, let's say he's flying back from someplace, and it's nighttime, and he wants to know who does he contact for wind direction, weather, and so on and so forth. There's no tower there that's being used, is there?
No, I would assume, if it was me, I would probably contact or listen to the WOCA Automated Terminal Information Service, which is a frequency they send out, and that has wind direction and cloud coverage and everything, visibility for the Ocala airport, and it's close enough to where you can probably assume that it's going to be the same.
Yeah.
Although he is unable to fly into that airplane with... with an instrument approach. So if the weather's too bad, he actually has to land at Ocala and not at his personal strip.
Yeah. So in other words, basically speaking, he can take off and land whenever he wants to.
Yep. It's his.
And any size aircraft.
Yep.
Okay, 'cause it was interesting here when I first moved down here a few years back, and of course he moved in, and I'm out in my backyard raking or whatever I was doing, and you're not used to seeing big, it's always these little putt-putts going around in the sky. I look up and here it is, this big aircraft. Holy crap, is it a crash landing coming here or what? But it was Travolta circling the Atlanta's airport up the road a couple of miles. So
That's I had the same feeling. I was outside one time and I see the big 707 come over and I was like, whoa, look at that. And then I realized, oh, that's John Travolta's jet. So
wow.
it's pretty interesting.
And but we see other big jets in the sky too. It's not always him, right?
Yeah, it's not always him. Yeah.
No, it's not. No, he doesn't fly around that much.
No, he doesn't.
That I know of.
No, actually, I've only seen his jet flying, the 707 flying, twice. I've seen it parked other places. Lots of times he'll come into Ocala like in the middle of the night, and the only time you'll see him is if the weather's bad and he landed at the Ocala City Airport, and then the next day, lots of times his pilots will come and get the airplane or whatever.
Is it now? It says Qantas on the tail, right?
Yeah.
So is it his plane or they?
It is his plane.
Okay.
Qantas actually gave it to him.
Okay.
How nice would that be, right? Someone.
Well,
an airline gives you a $34 million airplane.
Isn't that?
I don't know. Is that really how much it costs?
I'm sure at the time.
I don't know. I think it was an old one.
Yeah, it is an old one, but still.
Okay.
In scrap metal alone, the thing's worth a couple grand at least.
By the way, I was looking at something on YouTube, and it showed how the design of the big jet airplanes had to be changed. When they first did it, some of them fell apart. And they figured out the reason was because the rivets created these little tiny fractures that up in the higher altitudes became a problem.
Well, yeah, it's like, if you think about it, have you ever, ever stood on a soda can before?
I can imagine.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
And if you tap that soda can, just flick it, it'll collapse right away, because all the weight's supported on the skin of it, and if you dent it at all, it creates a weak point, which collapses a soda can. It's the same thing up at high altitude. You got to pressurize, in essence, soda can. Any blemish in that's gonna turn into a big catastrophe. That was a hard word to say.
That's pretty scary. Yeah. And yet we fly all the time and don't even think about it.
Well, one of the big things that they got rid of was square windows, because that was half the issue. You had windows that had corners to them, and at those corners you got those stress fractures forming. That's why all airliners have rounded windows.
Oh, I never knew that.
Or any pressurized airplanes have rounded windows.
Never knew that. All right, let's go back to the phone. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Most of my type of visual navigation and everything in small boats was done, like I said, on boats. And I can visualize the same thing with flying. On a boat, like if you're coming in the evening or even during the day, you have to look for channel markers, lighted buoys or buoys, period, to make sure you're going to get where you want to go. And not too long ago, I was down on the water. I was out there, and I haven't done this in a long time. I had a hard time finding any one of these buoys. Like certain buoys would flash, it would be like 3 flashes and then so many seconds dead, and then it would 3 flashes again. And that's how you recognize, what part of the channel or exactly where you were heading or coming from. In other words, it's like red right returning and green right leaving. And I'm just wondering, how does that work with visual flying, visual navigation or VFR on aircraft? If you haven't been flying lately, it can be kind of tricky trying to find your landmarks and whatnot to verify your direction and making sure you're on course and where you want to go. And I'm just wondering how that works. I'll hang up and listen.
Okay. Now for night, I mean, and there's certain things you're gonna do during the day and during the night. Night is definitely different. Like you said, if you haven't been flying, that's actually one of the things where you want to think about, should you go up first with an instructor to help you remember what to do. But a lot of it, you have dead reckoning and you have pilotage, and for a case like that, if you're flying at night, you're going to use your instruments for some help. You can use your VOR, but you're also going to use where you have a flight plan. It's going to tell you what direction you're supposed to be going, and you're going to have landmarks, and you're going to have to pick out landmarks, that are lights pretty much, or dark spots. And then what you do is on your flight plan is you coordinate how much time it's going to take you to get to that spot. Okay? Give you an example, like if I'm flying from here to Keystone during the day, I know to look for, first I see the highway, then I see a house, then I see the prison, then I see the bridge. So I know certain landmarks, and you kind of do the same thing at night. You just do for certain, certain towns if you can. You can't pick out the same landmarks, but you pick out certain landmarks. Highways are good. Sometimes you'll have it where you have a lot of lights and then a big dark spot. And if you've done it a few times, it's going to help. You don't usually want to get out there without really ever doing it by yourself and just go on long trips.
All right, let's go to the next call. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, I'm Max and Brad.
Good morning.
I just was wondering about the CBs. About communications.
Okay.
Between the airplane to the tower.
Uh-huh.
And about the locations and everything what you just mentioned.
Okay.
It's just it's phenomenal how the communication is really wonderful today.
Uh-huh.
Is what I want to know is my friend Larry has a CD in his car, and we hear jibber jabber on it, and we've been hearing these people talking. But how do you get someone that actually gives you a radio? If you want someone to give you a radio check, how do you get someone to do that?
Okay, well,
if you don't have a commercial license.
Okay, well, if you don't have generally with us when we're flying, you do radio checks on the ground. Like you'll check with the tower because there's certain frequencies, and when you're flying, you don't just get on any frequency and start talking. You actually have set frequencies that you use. And so, generally for us, if we're going to take off, you have to communicate ground anyway. So you'd get on the ground frequency and you would check with them. As far as a CB, I'm not really sure how you would check that, I guess, unless you just communicate back and forth with somebody else that has a CB. But for us, it's a pretty set thing. You can also check with an avionics shop and, check and make sure your radios are working properly. So,
there you go.
Real quick, before we get any more callers, I want to talk about the scholarship. We haven't talked about that for a while. That is still going on. We've got, a young gentleman that's using it, but we have, an opportunity for more people to do it. So just remember that is out there. It's a scholarship for a young person from 17 to 25 to be able to get help, paying for a private pilot's license. And if you want more information on that, you can just call me. And we're also still doing the Discovery flights.
Where should we call you at, Brad?
Well, I was going to say it after I finished talking about Discovery flights. Okay. Because I was going to give both the number for both things. But I'll say the number for the scholarship is 352-861-7484, or you can email me at ocalaviation@yahoo.com. For the Discovery flights, same information. No, not same information. Same phone numbers. See, now you got me all confused. Anyway, although we're, it's not Christmas anymore, you can still use it for birthday presents. You can just use it for a cool adventure. You can use it for graduation presents. It's a great thing to do. You go up, we take you out. You actually can take things to controls and see what it feels like to fly these planes. You hear about people talking. We have, people that call in that have flown, and they talk about how great it is. Well, this is a good opportunity for you guys to kind of have that same experience. And then you can call in and tell everybody how great it was. So I need to get that out there because we seem to have more callers today, so I had to make sure I talked about those.
Make sure you get it out there.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
And they're actually, the Discovery flights are also a good wedding present if you don't know anyone's getting,
Wedding, birthday, graduation.
Yeah, any kind of present. And they're actually fun for the instructors to do as well. We enjoy, seeing the enthusiasm and the people who get to...
That's good to know.
Yeah. So, well, we actually had a guy come in that is scheduled another one. He's got 5 grandsons, and for each of their 16th birthdays, he's taken them on their birthdays on a Discovery flight.
That's awesome.
So he's actually going to do his 3rd grandson. I think it's next Saturday. So he set up as a family tradition. So now the kids are looking forward to that.
Right.
And it's great. And he said they love it.
Yeah, and the kids aren't necessarily going to start flight training and anything. It's just a fun thing to go do. See Ocala from the air. See your house from the air.
That is cool.
Yeah, and you take pictures, and it's something that I know a lot of kids, they like to. The big thing now is pictures. They have pictures of everything. Well, this is one that your friends aren't going to have. It's a pretty neat one. And but yeah, I mean, birthday, graduation, weddings, anniversaries, whatever. It's a fun thing to do.
That is a cool thing to do. We were talking about odd places people got married because Robin's son is getting married today. So
is he getting married in an odd place?
No.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if it was.
No, he's getting married in Rainbow Springs, so it's not odd at all. But one of the weddings we read about this morning was on the wings of an airplane. The bride and groom were on the wing of one. The preacher was on the wing of another, and as Joe pointed out, there must have been a cameraman because we saw the picture.
Yeah.
So there must have been a 3rd plane somewhere. And then they had this wireless. They were broadcasting to the people on the ground so they could hear the exchange of vows and all that. So.
I don't know. That to me, that's just cheesy. It's just weird. It's not even cheesy. I don't know. I don't mean to criticize.
Well, it's like the people. It's not. People get married while they're scuba diving too.
Yeah.
People really like to scuba dive.
So scuba dive when you're done.
What? Well, maybe they met while they were scuba diving.
So go on a scuba diving vacation.
True.
I don't know. Just
Yeah. So you wouldn't oblige if somebody said to you, "Hey, can we get married on one of your wings while you're flying?" Would you?
Well, it's not illegal.
Yeah, it's not illegal.
No, it's not legal.
It's not legal.
No, not for us. Now, if somebody want to get married in the back of one of our planes, I don't know legally if we could do that because because it's technically a part. Well, I guess they're taking off. I don't know. There's so many different regulations on as far as charters and sightseeing and photographs. So
I feel like you could call it a photography flight because I'm sure there are pictures will be taken on it.
That is true. So, but you wouldn't actually have a photographer on because you'd have to have the preacher and the married couple.
Well,
and the pilot.
Well, the pilot can take pictures.
That's true. Yeah. See, that would be one that we'd have to find out. It would be, you'd have to check the regulations on that one. So if anybody knows if we could actually do it, you can call us.
Well, unless we took them up in the 6th place airplane.
That is true. Yes.
And then you have the preacher.
Oh, okay. You have a larger airplane. I didn't know that.
Unless the preacher's is one of the people getting married,
Do I take myself? No, I mean, do I? Yeah. I don't know.
I may now kiss the bride.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be legal or not, but I guess technically we could. Legally, I don't know. So if anybody wants to get married on a plane. For some reason,
call someone else.
So if you come down, if you land and you've in the flight you've changed your mind, and the guests say congratulations, no, it didn't happen. You say what's going on? Our plans are up in the air.
I'm so glad that Larry entertains himself because
I love the way you don't laugh at any jokes.
We've laughed at a few.
No, you haven't.
Of course, it was the one that you told, and Josh just sat there because he didn't get it at all, and it took him a few minutes, and then he laughed. That was back a while ago, though.
Yeah, I think I did that. That was.
I think that was a foreigner thing.
No, that was dramatic pause.
Oh, is that what that was?
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. So, Josh, do you have any news to tell? I know we have a student up right now. Actually, she should be done by now doing her check ride. I haven't heard how that went. Maybe I should.
Going back to Doug's conversation, though, I do have something to ask. Are you allowed, the caller that was just on asking about the radios?
Oh, okay.
All right. Are you allowed to communicate with other pilots in the same way that drivers communicate with the CB, like just small talk? Are you allowed to do that?
Are you allowed? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Should you?
Yeah, is it professional? No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's certain frequencies like we use as a flight school to keep track of the other airplanes. We're not chit-chatting. We're trying to, like, if we're in the same area, we'll try to figure out, okay, where exactly are you so that, we make sure we contain separation there. But then sometimes you get especially student pilots from other flight schools, jibber-jabbering back and forth, and it clogs up the frequency where people are trying to make calls that they're turning final and base and taking off and landing, and they're talking about going to Flagler for lunch and what they're going to have.
Oh, wow, that sounds like fun.
And once in a while I'll get on the radio and I'll make a comment about it to them. But
and you do have we've got a couple phone calls right now. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, it's Sonny again.
Yes, Sonny.
I used to use the CB an awful lot, especially when I was working for commuting purposes to try to find the best route. And if we wanted to chit-chat, you would tell the other person to take it to a channel or frequency that was less used. For example, 19 is the common frequency on CBs. You'd tell them to take it to 10 or 9 or whatever, or a higher frequency. But that's how if we wanted to chit-chat. And I knew several people that had 2 CBs in the car just so they could chit-chat and also keep the traffic channel wide open here, like that channel 19. That's what everybody basically uses, including the truckers. But anyway, that was my thought on chit-chatting between planes. The other thing is, you're traveling at 100 to 150 miles an hour in a small plane, so how long are you going to be within radio range to chit-chat? Right. Anyway, that's
a good point too.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Throw it out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are at the end, guys. You want to remind people the number to call if they want a Discovery flight or a scholarship?
352-861-7484 or
WOCA Aviation
at yahoo.com.
And the phone number again, because Josh was really fast.
No, it wasn't.
861-7484.
There you go. And of course, you can call us. We'll be glad to repeat it for you. Or go to WOCA.com and look at the guest list. You'll see Josh and Brad's name at the 9:05 slot on Fridays, and there is the number.
I didn't know that.
Thank you, guys. We'll be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala. The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Life jackets save lives. Where in Florida? Sunshine mixed with clouds today and unseasonably warm. There may be a shower along the coast. The high 78 to 82. Partly cloudy tonight with some fog late. The overnight low 58 to 62. Tomorrow and Sunday may begin with areas of fog. Otherwise, a fair amount of sunshine and unseasonably warm each day.